Something happened in Beijing last week that no mainstream media outlet is talking about properly. While journalists were counting Boeing planes and soybean numbers, the real power move was playing out right in front of their eyes, and almost every single reporter missed it. Xi Jinping took Donald Trump on a private walk through one of the most secretive, most guarded compounds on planet Earth, a place where Mao Zedong lived, where Deng Xiaoping planned China's rise, where the fate of 1.4 billion people has been decided behind red walls for 75 years. And Xi pointed to trees that are 1,000 years old and said, "These belong to history, and so does this moment." I'm going to tell you what really shifted in Beijing, what the trade numbers are actually hiding, why this summit terrifies Washington's establishment, and what it means for your money, your future, and the global order that will define the next 30 years. Stay with me. Because when you understand what actually happened, everything else starts to make sense. Let's start with the location, because it tells you everything. Zhongnanhai. Most Americans have never heard of it. Most journalists can't even spell it correctly. But inside Chinese power circles, this place is power. It sits right next to the Forbidden City in central Beijing. It's where China's Communist Party leadership lives and works, including Xi Jinping himself. Security is so tight that images of the interior are censored on Google Maps. You literally cannot see it from satellite on most platforms. Only a handful of American presidents have ever stepped inside those walls. Nixon went in 1972 to reopen U.S.-China relations after 25 years of total hostility. George W. Bush visited briefly. Obama toured a small section in 2014. But what Xi did with Trump on May 15, 2026, this was different. Xi personally walked Trump through the garden, pointed out trees that are nearly 500 years old, told him some trees inside are over 1,000 years old, encouraged Trump to touch them as a gesture of respect for history and continuity. And then, here's the detail that nobody is reporting correctly. A hot mic caught Trump asking Xi, "Do other foreign leaders get to come here?" Think about what that question means, and think about what Xi's answer implied. This is not normal diplomatic choreography. This is a message from one powerful leader to another. A message about trust, about respect, about the kind of relationship that doesn't get built in conference rooms. Now let's talk about what the mainstream media is covering, the deals, because even here they're getting the story wrong. Here's what was officially announced. Deal number one, Boeing aircraft. China approved the purchase of 200 American-made Boeing aircraft for Chinese airlines. Trump told Fox News that China also ordered 400 to 450 GE Aerospace jet engines, with a promise of up to 750 total planes if negotiations continue smoothly. The White House called this China's first commitment to buy American Boeing planes since 2017. Deal number two, agriculture. China agreed to buy at least $17 billion per year of U.S. agricultural products through 2026, 2027, and 2028. That's on top of the soybean commitments already made in October 2025. Add those together, and you're looking at roughly $27 billion in annual agricultural trade flowing back to American farmers. China also restored market access for U.S. beef, renewing approval for over 400 American beef facilities, and resumed poultry imports from U.S. states certified free of bird flu. Deal number three, boards of trade and investment. This is the one nobody is properly analyzing. The two countries established new institutions, a U.S.-China Board of Trade and a U.S.-China Board of Investment. These aren't just committees, they're frameworks, permanent channels for managing the world's most important economic relationship going forward. Deal number four, rare earths. The White House quietly confirmed movement on rare earth access, a critical issue since China holds near monopoly control over refining these minerals that power everything from iPhones to F-35 fighter jets. Now, some financial analysts called the Boeing order underwhelming. Boeing shares actually dropped 3.8% on the day. Markets wanted 300 planes, they got 200. But here's what those analysts are missing. This is round one. Xi is scheduled to visit Washington in September. The framework is being built, not completed. That's how Xi plays the game. And Trump knows it. Here's where it gets really interesting, and where I'm going to give you the analysis you will not hear anywhere else. Both Trump and Xi signed off on a new framework for their relationship. They're calling it a constructive relationship of strategic stability. That phrase matters. Beijing chose those words very carefully. According to analysts, China is trying to turn Trump's deal-making instincts into a longer-term operating framework, one that could bind the next American president too. In plain English, Xi is thinking 10 years ahead. Trump is thinking about wins before the midterms. And right now, both men are getting something they want. Iran was a major topic in the closed-door sessions. Trump told Fox News that Xi said China will not provide military equipment to Iran, which Trump called a big statement. Both leaders also agreed that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, and both called for reopening the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point through which 20% of the world's oil normally flows. Think about the strategic geometry here. The U.S. is fighting Iran. Iran is China's oil customer. But most of China's energy actually comes from Russia and Gulf states, the very countries Iran keeps disrupting. So China actually needs the strait open. Trump and Xi have overlapping interests that go far beyond what any trade deal can capture. Then there's Taiwan. Xi warned Trump directly that mishandling Taiwan could cause, in his own words, clashes and even conflicts. Trump, unusually, didn't push back hard. He told reporters he made no commitment either way on a pending $14 billion arms sale to Taiwan. That answer is going to echo for months. And artificial intelligence, Jensen Huang of NVIDIA was in Beijing. So was Tim Cook of Apple, Elon Musk, the titans of American tech, walking the same hallways as China's Communist Party leadership. Trump and Treasury Secretary Bessent both spoke about establishing guardrails for AI development between the two superpowers. The future of technology, and who controls it, was being negotiated in those rooms. This detail almost everyone missed. The Kremlin confirmed that Vladimir Putin is heading to Beijing immediately after Trump left to get a direct briefing from Xi on what was discussed. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said it plainly. When the top two economies are in dialogue, this is a matter of deep analysis for all countries in the world, including us. When the world's most powerful autocrat rushes to Beijing the moment Trump's plane lifts off, that tells you the gravity of what just happened. The global strategic map is being redrawn, and the countries that understand that are moving fast. The countries still stuck in the old framework are being left behind. Let's bring this home, because all of this geopolitics has real consequences for real Americans. American farmers win. 17+ billion in guaranteed agricultural purchases is real money flowing into rural America. Boeing workers win. 200 planes means thousands of jobs in Seattle, Charleston, and Everett. The U.S. energy sector wins. Both leaders want the Strait of Hormuz open, which means more stable oil prices. American tech companies win. Apple, NVIDIA, and Tesla all gain clearer market access signals from this summit. But the open questions remain. Will China actually follow through? Remember the Phase 1 trade deal from Trump's first term, $200 billion in commitments that largely didn't materialize. Taiwan remains a live wire. Any escalation there could unravel everything built in Beijing this week. Tech decoupling continues. China is building its own chips, AI models, and aerospace. The competition isn't stopping, it's just getting more structured, and tariffs remain unresolved. Neither side publicly committed to specific reductions, even as China hinted at cuts in their own readout. Here's the thing about personal relationships in geopolitics, and this is something that most foreign policy schools genuinely do not teach properly. Treaties get broken, tariffs get reversed, trade frameworks collapse. But when two leaders genuinely trust each other, even rivals, they pick up the phone before things escalate. They find off-ramps before crises become wars. They make deals that bureaucrats and analysts said were impossible. Xi offering Trump rose seeds from the Zhongnanhai garden isn't symbolic fluff. It's Xi saying, I am treating you as a guest in my home, not as an adversary at a conference table. Trump saying, nice place, I could get used to this, seemingly casual, is Trump saying, I respect what you've built. I'm not here to destroy it. These are the signals that actually move mountains, not the official communiques, not the press releases. The moments when two of the most powerful men on earth show each other genuine respect, even while competing fiercely. Marco Rubio said it plainly. China is doing exactly what China believes is in China's best interest. America needs to do the same. The question is whether the two can coexist, or whether the competition becomes catastrophic. This summit, whatever its limitations, bought time. And in geopolitics, buying time is often the most valuable thing you can do. Here's your roadmap for the next 6 months. September 2026, Xi visits Washington. This is round 2. The real architecture of the relationship gets built here. Watch for movement on Taiwan arms sales, technology restrictions, and tariff structures. The G20 and APEC summits, both leaders committed to supporting each other as hosts of these major international forums. The U.S.-China relationship will be front and center on the world stage. The AI race, Jensen Huang was in Beijing for a reason. The guardrails Trump and Xi discussed for artificial intelligence development could be the most consequential policy framework of this decade. Watch this space closely. The Iran factor, the clock is ticking. If a deal or conflict resolution happens, oil prices stabilize. If it escalates, all these economic agreements face serious pressure. And the midterms, Trump needs economic wins that voters can feel. $17 billion in farm purchases and 200 Boeing planes are concrete talking points. Expect the White House to amplify these aggressively going forward. The story out of Beijing isn't finished. It's barely begun. What happened in Zhongnanhai last week was a foundation being laid. Whether it holds or crumbles under Taiwan, technology, and Iran will define the global economy for the next generation. If this analysis gave you a perspective you couldn't get from CNN, Fox News, or anyone else, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach people who deserve better information. Subscribe if you want analysis that goes deeper than the headlines every single week, and drop a comment below. Do you think Trump got a good deal in Beijing, or did Xi outplay him? I want to know what you think. I'll see you in the next one.